Joining us on day 3 of the 13th World Wushu Championships here in Jakarta. Day 2 delivered as many thrills and excitement as we'd expect from a World Wushu Championships. The Sanda mat had some 40 bouts that took part in the 2 sessions. TKOs, everything you expect from high-level Sanda, and some 39 different nations competing as well. On the Taolu mat, there was yet more success for local starlet Linswell as she picked up a double gold, and China started to flex their muscles as we all expected them to do. Let's have a look back at the events of day 2.
We start our roundup of day 2's Taolu, where we left off yesterday, as Linswell made it a double by claiming gold in the women's Tai Chi Chuan. China flexed their muscles on day 2 as they took 4 gold medals of the 8 on offer. Xiao Xiao Lai secured 1 in the women's Changshu. And an impressive performance from the phenomenal Sun Pei Yuan, who wowed the crowd here in Jakarta as he nabbed gold in the men's Changshuan. And history was made in more ways than one as we crowned our first ever world champion in the men's Dardao. That man was a delighted Amir Abdel Tawab from Egypt.
Yeah, I feel good. It's first time to me here in Indonesia. It's first world championship for me. I feel very happy because I'm here with Captain Sharif Mustafa, and it's good. Feels so good.
Jeevan and Tony were treated to another day of spectacular action on the Sanda platform. Here is just a taster of what they witnessed. Look at that.
Incredible stuff from day 2, as you can tell, and day 3 is all ready and set to get started at the Istora Senayan. On the Sanda mat, we're going to see the quarterfinals in both the women's and men's category. And on the Taolu stage, new styles are being included into the event for the first time, including Bagua Zhang, so look out for that. All this to come on day 3 at the 13th World Wushu Championships.
And that is exactly where you are right now. Amazing action that we've seen in the first 2 days. And we are back at the Istora Senayan in the Gelora Bung Karno Sports Complex here in the heart of the historical city of Jakarta for session 4, and it is day 3. My name is Jeevan Salvanathan, and again, joining me in the commentary box is Wushu master, teacher, and judge, and my friend Tony Sims. Tony, what's day 3 going to be like?
Day 3, Jeevans, will be even more exciting than our first couple of days. We will see the level of fighting, because these fighters have fought through a couple of rounds, rise considerably. We've seen some of your favorites, and we'll see them back in action.
Well, we can see there the order of the morning session, quarterfinals for the women's Sanda 48 and 45 kilograms, and then men's Sanda round of 16 to take us into the quarterfinals. And these are the fighters. We've already seen a few of them in action. Now, from the women's draw especially, because we have only checked in with them once before, what have you seen so far from them that looks like what they're going to need to go through to the quarters, to the semis now? Because if this is when you're fighting for the quarterfinal semis, there's that much more pressure on you, right?
Exactly. We've seen a lot of speed, so they know that if they're coming up against the likes of Vietnam, they're coming up against the likes of the Philippines, they're coming up against the likes of China, but also these strong countries, Iran, Turkey. We've seen very strong fighters.
Yeah.
So if you're fighting to get a place, you're going to have to show some great technique.
Now, you just saw the other names that will be taking part today. That was the men's kilogram classes, and we're just ready to get underway. All the judges, as you can see in the white shirts, lined up and ready to go. For the Sanda Leitai platform, there'll be 5 judges. And one of the innovations, of course, as we have been saying throughout this 13th World Wushu Championships, is individual scores. Now, when you first told me about that, and there is Abdul Qadir Dao, And you can see with the neck brace, it's good to see him moving around because he was the victim, I should say, of a very serious knockout yesterday.
But great to see him. I had a chance to talk with him through one of his team leaders. He's doing well. His spirits are great.
Yeah.
This is the team's first time at the World Championships.
Wow.
And I got a chance to tell him what we're hoping is that they will come back. They will use this experience as a learning tool. But what's so great is that after that tough knockout yesterday, he is back healthy and in the stands watching his teammates.
Yeah, it's good to see him moving around. I think one of the things you've pointed out has been that Wushu, of course, in the martial arts world, the big news that has come out is that UFC champion Ronda Rousey was knocked clean out. But again, I noticed when I watched that, the medical attention wasn't there because it's not meant to take care of you, it's meant to create damage. Whereas here, as we saw with Abdul Kadir Dow, immediate medical attention, stretchered off, and he was constantly viewed and reviewed throughout the night. It is, as you said, great to see him. That's the Italian team.
That's right.
I just ran into
Hello
them outside.
to the Italian
Hello,
team.
Italian. Ciao to the Italian team. Talking of the cosmopolitan nature of the 13th World Wushu Championships, again, I'll just tell you, 39 countries were in action yesterday. Probably won't see that many this time because, of course, that was the elimination round. That was the first fight that's going to be happening today. Pooja Tomar, Indian fighter, taking on the Vietnamese Nguyen Thi Huang. And there she is fighting in the black. We've seen a very strong performance from all the Vietnamese fighters so far.
Vietnamese fighters and Indonesian fighters as well, so this should be an action-packed match for us. 48 kilograms, we should expect some speed from these fighters. We've seen from Vietnam aggression from the time that the judge calls start.
Exactly. They move inexorably towards their opponent and essentially take whatever their opponent can get. And we've seen them pushing off, we've seen them, but not just pushing off, we've seen them also come in with heavy kicks and fast hands as well.
Oh, that's just it. Behind the speed is also strong, solid technique. So both of these countries know that they should expect a strong fight, so coming out of the gate.
Yeah. Now, as you were saying, techniques is what, it doesn't impress the judges, it's the only thing the judges actually notice.
They're looking for the clarity of the technique. They're looking to see if the technique was, if the technique displaced their opponent, if the technique had power behind it. They're looking to see if there was a response, whether someone was able to block or counteract the technique. That's the only way it'll be scored, if it meets the criteria.
Yeah. Now, in terms of points, if you just want to go through the point system, I know it's 2 points for a kick and to the torso as well. It's one point to the head. But still, I mean, that's where the judge's eye comes in. It's the takedowns and it's the shui off the lei tai that can get a little bit complicated. And that's why there are 5 judges around that platform as we get underway. Immediate clinch.
So here you see as some of the other fighters sort of size themselves up for a while. Here what you see are fighters who are in the clinch right away, but both at the same time not going to give too much up. There's a kick to the face that we just saw, so that should score some points for Vietnam there. Early points.
Now we have seen the intensity of the fights, and we watched some 40-odd bouts yesterday on day 2. Intensify as we go through. Remember, it's pretty early in the morning here in Jakarta, and these are the first fights onto the lei tai, the first fights on the lei tai, and they're usually a little bit nervy, we should say.
Well, especially for those fighters where it's their first fight coming up.
Exactly.
It's their first fight coming
and
up.
also being a quarterfinal, I mean, there's a lot riding on the line here.
People have made it. They've made it through a couple of rounds, and they can taste the medal rounds.
That's right.
So.
Now, talking about those individual points, I said it's a radical new system that's been introduced, and every single judge, as they score the fight as it goes through, those points, well, they're not universally seen, they're definitely seen by us and all the people gathered here in the stadium. And I can tell you now that Luan from Vietnam in the black is moving ahead with points, but still quite low scoring.
It's a testament to both the fact that we see a lot of clinching there, but also that there's a healthy respect for each of them to stay out of fighting distance. When they get into fighting distance, to have something that'll score. So we saw a side kick from Vietnam that worked, and a takedown from Vietnam here quickly. We're into 1 minute of the fight, and like you said, it's a fairly low-scoring round so far.
Well, there were a couple of extra points now that are beginning to scroll in for Vietnam, as expected. A good, organized, cool, and that was purely from kick power. Well, that was pretty thumping.
We see Vietnam right off the bat able to slide in with thigh kicks, with push kicks, just from strong stances. This speed helps her, and it's what we see the point differential.
It seems that they can move ahead and also deal with whatever their opponent can give, but on top of that, should they find themselves under attack, and it has to be said that Pooja Tomar is doing quite well here to move through it.
Oh, sure. It's not as if Vietnam is overwhelming her opponent. It's just that she's able to score points. You notice Indonesia stays outside because every time she's gone in, there's a kick, and that's 2 points every time.
Well, it looks like with 10 seconds left in this opening round, and it's going to be another round one for Vietnam.
You can hear the kick up here, right?
Absolutely thumping kick. So, pretty unanimous decision from the judges in the opening round. 10-2, 8-3, 12-3, 11-5, 10-2, and it's declared black. And that was an interesting reversal there from India. The quality of Indian fighting's actually impressed me a great deal in the opening 2 days. Haven't been that successful, but they have definitely looked, what I like to say is they have a lot of spirit. They've been coming in and even though they've been underneath in terms of technique and skills, they've been trying whatever they can.
And you see this incremental increase in the fighting. I remember years and years ago where you see the level wasn't as high as we've seen with the fighters from India now. So they've had this experience on the late tide, but they've been coming to championships for a while. And you see it because she's there with a strong fighter in Vietnam, historically a strong country in terms of Sanda.
Yeah, that's right. Vietnam finished up fourth, the 2013 World Wushu Championships. Every 2 years, that was the last edition in KL, Malaysia, with 3 gold medals, 6 silvers, and 3 bronze. Decent haul.
So here, India is still trying to figure out, how do I get in on this fighter who has a little bit of height, but using their legs effectively from Vietnam to keep her out of punching range.
Well, that's that fighting distance that you were talking about yesterday.
Every time they are into the clinch, Vietnam has been able to get the upper hand with takedown. So she's had trouble once in the clinch as well. But
there's a little bit of aggression there from Pooja Tomar from India.
To your point, it is that aggression, that perseverance. She is not holding back. She knows she's with a strong fighter, but she's willing to go in there and really mix it up.
Yeah, see what she can get. Well, just one solitary point awarded to each fighter already from Judge 1.
There's a thigh kick she might have gotten. She did.
Yeah, she did. Good score.
So she's on the board.
She's on the board, and she is technically in the lead, currently in the lead, but very slender.
There's a
roundhouse
kick to the face. Not all judges saw it, and that's where we see some of the discrepancy between the judges. You have to call only the points you see, and if your angle doesn't allow you to see the point, you don't score it. So that's what we're seeing here. Look at that strong kick from India, followed up with the roundhouse kick. So she just earned some points, and if she keeps this up, she could really make the difference and save the round for herself. You see that. You see a little bit more confidence in her technique right now.
Yeah,
being admonished, and she's able to catch the kick and take her down.
Great takedown, caught the leg.
Good for India.
Oh, this is some good points being accrued, and now you can certainly say that she's got a good shot at this round. 40 seconds left, she's got to keep up this.
Well, you know, Jeeves, we've seen a lot change in Sanda in those 35 seconds, so she's got to both hold on to it and make sure that she doesn't get, this should be no point.
Should be no point with both.
That's that holding on.
Going down. And in case you are wondering as to how the judges wouldn't be able to see these, well, as the fighters move around, the referee moves around them, there is, of course, a blocking of view for some. So what one judge might see, another judge might not.
We're at 20 seconds, like you pointed out, and India might be able to hold out on this. They
might just be able to now with 15 seconds locking down. But look at that sudden accrual of points from Vietnam.
That was a kick. She got a kick in. We're down to 10 seconds, and we just might see, wow, these scores are really mixed here.
Well, that's the thing. The judges have really been split down. I can see that Judge 3 is right in the middle, and with that final flurry, it was literally in the last few seconds of that round. Again, Vietnam shows its strength just to manage to get out.
Just
3-2.
eking out.
Yep, 5-6, 8-3, 6-4, 2-4.
You can see from the coaches' faces, they're not quite sure because they were pretty sure their fighter had that round. You can see the kind of look of disbelief on India's face.
It is, and it was the quarterfinal as well, and they're looking over. I actually managed to take a picture with that India coach who came up to me this morning when I was doing early TV stuff. Of course, far more serious looking now because there is. Oh, do they have a point of contention though, really? Did it look like it was?
So this is the issue. When you don't make a clear enough discrepancy between your points and the other opponent's points, you run the risk of being so close and she's edged out by a matter of 2 points. That was 2 punches or 1 kick. She clearly had the momentum going in, and what you saw from very experienced Vietnam, fighting until the last seconds, not holding out. That last second, you saw her score some points.
Yeah, the amount of points that came in. Now, this is our second bout for the morning. Junita Malau from Indonesia. So, a bit of hometown support, hopefully. And Mayada El-Zawawi from Egypt. Mayada in the black, Junita in the red.
This should be a good fight. Egypt has made a name for itself here in Sanda. The last few World Championships, and you can be sure that Indonesia has prepared with this tournament being in the wonderful city of Jakarta.
Well, they picked up a couple of silvers at the last edition and 4 bronzes as well. As you were saying, with these advancing countries, that must mean